Okay, so for this workout, you're going to need a resistance band. You could get away with not having one, but it will probably help to activate the glutes a little bit more if you do. 2 small weights for your hands. You can play around with how much it is. If you're starting out, go pretty light, and then the more you get used to it, the more your body understands what's going on. And the better you get at it, you can progressively load, make the weight bigger and bigger. And one of the benefits of using weights is that you can really get more done in a shorter amount of time because you're adding the appropriate amount of stress to the body. You can add more stress by changing your pace, by doing more reps and more sets, but really the most bang for your buck is to add a little bit of extra kind of external weight. So I'm going to use a pretty heavy weight. This one that I'm using it's pretty heavy. I've worked my way up to it. It's about 40 pounds. You can go way more, way higher in a gym. Maybe you'll get there one day if it's something you're into. And then again, 2 smaller weights like I said before. So let's start. You're going to take a resistance band, and this one, I've got 2. I've got one that's pretty thick, and I've got one that has a little bit more kind of leeway. And I'm going to put that to my ankles, so I would recommend for you to use the one that's a little bit thinner. We're going to see if we can kind of wake up the body a little bit. And you can do this outside of the gym before you go down if you want to, or in the gym. And if you're not at the gym, just have those weights with you. And you're just going to do, it's often called 2 walking. So you can put the hands on the hips and just walk side to side. We're just going to do this a couple of times. For this whole workout is going to be less than a half an hour with a lot of really basic and really amazing strength workouts. So as you keep going, try not to let your torso wave side to side too much. See if you can, even if you have to lower your hips some, try to isolate the movement in the legs. Feel as though the whole time, this is tough, the whole time you were trying to let your knees move away from each other so they didn't cave in, even as you step. We'll just do 1 more to each side. It's hard for me not to wave my torso side to side. I don't notice that I'm doing it so much, but when I see it in the screen, I am. So notice if you are too. And then when you're ready to, just pause. So when you get back to the other side, then slide your band up a little higher. Sometimes it helps turn the feet out, get the band to have a kind of good grip, and then make your feet in your squat stance. Everyone's squat stance is different. Feet are about hip or shoulder distance apart. You're going to place your hands to your hips for now. Push the band away with your legs, and just lower your hips about knee height. Push your heels on the floor and come back up. Lower knee height and come back up. So as you push the band away, and if you don't feel a lot, the more you do it, the more you'll feel it. But you can always get a different band, a thicker band. But as you continue to do this, the back body is going to wake up a little bit. And for some people, it takes longer than others. For some people, it takes months for that to happen. Just keep going. I'm going to use my thicker band because I think I can kind of feel a little more when I do that. So again, it just adds a little bit more resistance as you push your legs away with the band. Stick your butt back, come on back up. Back, come on back up. Just a few more. And if you'd like, you can lift your arms. You can even keep your arms up. And then we're going to add a little bit more kind of fire to this. You're going to stay low and just pulse a little bit. Push your band away, pulse a little bit. Now I'm certainly feeling it now. Again, hopefully you're feeling it in the back and sides of the legs. Just pulse, lower, lift, lower, lift. The heels press down, you push the band away, and then go ahead and straighten your legs. Now when you're ready, back into your low squat. Keep doing prayer hands for yoga. And then slowly step side to side. Just a couple of steps to one side and then the other. Really only has to be a couple. Push the band away. And again, what they say you're doing here is getting your body to recruit, to start using the back of the body, because if you don't do this, again, this is really simplifying things, but if you don't do this, you might be more likely to use your quads for the exercises. This, because your glutes are waking up, may, I don't think it's always the case, but may make you more likely to use your quads. You can do another 1 or 2. I'm done. But now that we're a little bit more awake, we're going to get into it. So you can grab a sip of water anytime you need to. Hydrate, hydrate. Now, I'm going to be walking you through these exercises, suggesting which weights you use. And sometimes I'm going to be using a lighter weight because that's what I need today. So, with or without the band, we're going to start with just some standard kind of squats. I'm going to use the band again. I find it really helpful. I'll use my lighter one today. Now, where you hold the weight when you do squats affects, it affects everything, but for the most part, it can affect what's happening with your torso, with your back, with your spine. So we're going to grab the weight for our first set of squats, and we're going to place it behind the head. So one of the reasons for doing this is that it activates your upper and lower body a little more. But again, this is one of the ones that's a little tougher on the back. So we're just going to do a few of these. When you're ready, push your band away, push your hips forward a little bit. And when you're ready, lower your hips down. About knee height is enough. So eventually you can go lower, and then straighten your legs. Push your heels down. 2, 3, 4. Straighten your legs. 1, 2. Hips down. 2, 3, 4. Pause. Push your heels down. Push your band away. Straighten your legs. 1, 2. Just another 1 or 2. Hips back. 2, 3, 4. Pause. Straighten your legs. 1, 2. One more. Down. 2, 3, 4. Pause. Straighten your legs. 1, 2. So you can take that band out from behind you, get it out of your way, weight, and then you can do this with no weights or maybe with smaller weights in your hands. And you're going to go over to a bench in your gym. When you're ready, you're going to have your feet lunge distance apart, so 1 foot forward. You could do this with the band if you wanted to, you might not need to. And the other foot actually steps on the bench. So take your time finding your balance. And when you're ready, make sure your foot feels pretty comfortable. You're going to try to let your hips lower down towards the floor, not letting your front knee move super far forward. That's not unsafe, but it's not what we need. So lower down, push your heel down, lift up. Lower down, lift up. If you can see, I'm leaning forward a little bit, down and up. Down and up. And again, let's do one more. Push that front heel into the floor. And switch sides. Take your time. The sides are going to be different. Of course, you know that. Try not to let your front knee move forward, even if that means you have to separate your legs more or not lower so much. But lower your hips some, so maybe the front thigh gets parallel with the floor, and straighten. 2. And straighten. We're not doing this with the same tempo we did with the squats. It's just down, up. Down, up. Pushing that front heel into the floor. One more, maybe 2. And then when you're ready, release your weights. Let's take a little break. So the breaks might feel like time suckage a little bit, but we're actually attempting to let your body get some energy back, some chemical energy back, and the little bit of time you take between the sets will give it to you. So what we're going to do is repeat that, but this time we're going to see if we can do a set of 10, maybe 12 of those squats with the weight on the shoulders. If it's bothering you having the weight on the shoulders, put it on your chest. Later on, we're going to do that, or we're going to have it hanging low. I'm going to show you both, and you can decide which one your back likes best. So again, a little bit of time. This is why when you're in the gym, you see people sitting around doing nothing. You're like, why are you sitting in the gym doing nothing? It's because they're letting their body recover so that they can work harder when they go back at it. Okay, ready? Maybe put the band around your legs. Again, this really helps, even just the reminder every time you see the band, it can really help you remember to push your legs away. And that external rotation of the hips is what helps fire up the glutes. So, weight, if possible, behind the head. Take your time. Push the band away. And when you're ready, stick your butt back. A little forward lean here is okay. But lower down, pause, and then come up. So we're doing 4 beats down, 1 beat, pause, 2 beats up. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. And then up. 1, 2. Push your pelvis forward. Back and down. 2, 3, 4. pause. Feel your heels in the ground. And up, 2, pelvis forward. Back, 2, 3, 4, pause. Lean into your heels. And then up, 1, 2, back, 2, 3, 4, pause. Lean into your heels. Up, 1, 2, pelvis forward. Down, 2, 3, 4, pause. Up, 1, 2, pelvis forward again. Down, 2, 3, 4. Push your heels down. Feel it. And then up. 1, 2, pelvis forward. Down, 2, 3, 4, pause. And then up. 1, 2. One more. Don't waste time talking to yourself about it. Just do it. Pause. And then up. 1, 2. And go ahead and move that. We're going to right away go into the next exercise. And then again, we'll have a break. So same as we did before. Grab your weights. Maybe start with the opposite foot. It's kind of hard to gauge how far away the feet should be. But just think like a standard lunge feet on the floor. Except this time you've got your back foot elevated on a bench in the gym. Or if you want even harder, on an exercise ball. But if you have a lot of trouble finding balance there, don't do that. So 8, ready? Down, up, down, up. 2, up. 3, down, up. 4, down, up. 5, down, up. 6, down, up. Push that front heel down. 7, down, up. Last one, push that front heel down. 8, down, up. Switch your feet. Find your balance, give yourself a moment. Again, a slight forward lean. That front knee is not moving too far forward. Even though it's safe, it's not what we're trying to do. Ready? Here we go. Down, up. 2, 3, down, up. 4, down, up. 5, down, up. 6, down, up. 7, down, up. Shoulder blades down the back, neutral neck. And when you're ready, relax. I think that was 8. That was 8, right? So you'll get really used to doing it. You'll be able to do it on your own really quickly. Have a sip of water. There's evidence that suggests moving around, even if you're feeling kind of beat up, is good. It keeps the blood flowing. So don't be one of those guys at the gym or gals at the gym who's sitting on Instagram on their phone between exercises. Be the one that's looking around, moving around, drinking water. So you ready? We're going to do some wide squats. The feet are going to be a little bit farther apart. This will target the inner thighs a little bit more. I find this one can be a little bit different on the knees in a good way if you're doing it well. So if you stick your butt really far back and come up, it'll feel different. But if you have your feet really turned out and you squat. Now, since we're adding a little weight to this, you want to do the one that doesn't bother your knees too much. And I didn't mention this before. You don't have to have a lot of anything really on your feet. I had my socks on, just taking them off, so slipping a little bit. Let's get the weight. Stand pretty far apart. Feet are turned out some. We're going to hold the weight low. I think I might actually show you from this angle, because you'll see there's still that forward lean in my torso. Okay, ready? So go ahead and grab the heavier weight, maybe 20 pounds. Push your heels into the floor. Stand up some. And then go ahead and lift. Push your heels down. Lower. So knees point out. And lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. And lift. And lower. And lift. And again. 3 more. Next time you're down, stay there. Just like do 10 pulses. 10 pulses. 1, push your heels down. 3, 4, push your heels down, knees away. 7, 8, 9, 10. Go ahead, and in a way that feels good in your back, you might have to wiggle your feet closer. Carefully put your weight down. Grab your smaller weights. Sip of water if you need it. So we're going to do 1 foot Romanian deadlifts. So you're going to have 1 foot up in the air and then lean down with the other foot. I'll show you in a second. Now, you can do this with your toes on the floor. You can do this with your foot up in the air. You can do this with a heavier weight. Take your time. You're going to stand up straight, and then you're just going to kind of trace your leg with your weights and come back up. If you wanted to, you can think like a warrior 3 pose in yoga. You lower down, lift that back leg, and come back up. It's obviously a bit more dynamic. Play with it. Here we go. We're going to do 8 each leg. Sit tall. Think like proud chest. Lift your sternum. Brace your abdomen a little. Don't stop breathing. Lower and lift. That's 1, 2. Lift your chest up some. Stick your butt back in space. 3. Again, you can have your back foot hanging out in the air. There's 4. You can lift it actually quite high like a warrior 3, or you can keep the toes anchored to the floor. 5. 3 more. 6. Just think lower and lift. So maybe a count of 2 if you do this on your own. Down for 2, up for 2. It doesn't have to be 2 full seconds. This is the last one. Right into the other side. So left foot down, right toes back a little bit. When you're ready, lower, lower, lift, lift. Lower, lower, lift, lift. Lower, lower, lift, lift. Lower, lower, lift, lift. Just a couple more. Stick your butt back. Brace your core, neutral neck. Feel your foot on the floor. And if the wobbling is too much, because you don't want to hurt your joints, just lower the other toes as an anchor. And then when you're ready to, relax your weight down. Again, another little mini break. So doing 1 more set of them, and then we're going to do 2 sets of 2 different exercises. So same like we did before. We'll do a bunch of different exercises, and we'll repeat that. Same thing. So it's really 3 supersets. So we're about 20 minutes in, which means you're 2/3 done, for the most part. Okay, ready? We're going to get back at it. Have some water. Move, shake out. There's plenty of reasons why shaking can be good for you. Sighing, move your neck around, turn the music up really loud, whatever you need to do. When you're ready, wide stance. We're going to go for 10. Get your weight in your hands. Get a grip on it that doesn't bother your wrists at all. And then when you're ready, push your feet into the floor, lift up. Here we go. Ready? Lift, push your feet away, and lower. So the feet are wider than shoulder distance apart. How wide depends on many factors. Lift and lower, lift and lower. How much you're tucking your tailbone. How much you stick your butt back behind you. All of these can affect what you feel. Make sure you're not feeling any pain on your hamstrings. Keep going. And pay attention to where you feel your body struggle with this. Notice when it feels like you're falling into flexibility or just dropping into your joints, and engage. Push your feet down. This is the last one. And then you can release your weight. Grab your smaller weights. This could be done with the bigger weight. I do with bigger weight sometimes, but not feeling that today. So when you're ready, maybe start with the leg you don't instinctively want to start with. Other foot in the air. Let's go for 8. Stick your butt back. 1 and up. 2 and up. Remember, toes to the floor is fine. Slow down. If you don't do as many as I'm counting, that's okay. 5. There are benefits to going into the full range of motion. There are benefits to not doing that too. So just play with it. Again, you don't want to do so much that your body is overwhelmed. because that can lead to exhaustion, it can lead to injury. You just want to progressively get your body used to it. This is the last one, and we'll switch sides. A break after this, about 8 of them. Stand up, take a breath, maybe big breath in through the nose, let it go, and here we go. 8 total. Lower, lift, lower, lift. Keep going. Again, if you're talking to yourself the whole time, it's okay, as long as your story is your friend, right? As long as your story is on your team. Otherwise, maybe just slow down for a second. See if you can explore more what you feel, less what you're saying. Last one. And then go ahead and move those weights. So we've got one more superset to go, 2 rounds of it. Grab some water. I find, I don't really think that any kind of gluttonous water consumption is necessary, but I do find if I'm losing a little bit of steam, guzzling water really does help. I'm not saying a gallon a day, please don't get me mistaken. That's, that's a bunch of stuff. I know this might be boring, but this little break is necessary. We are 21 minutes in. We're finished after this. Then you can do a little cool down on your own, a little bit of stretching. Maybe do some cardio. I think it's often helpful if you're going to take a walk to do it after you do the weight training, because that way you can really have some steam to push for the weight stuff. So here's the next exercise we're going to do. You could, if you wanted to, come onto your bench, put your weight on your hips, or you can come onto the floor. I'm going to recommend the bench. The height of the bench is not arbitrary. Like, you want to have something where you can actually have your shoulder blades on the bench, and you're going to have your weight on your hips, and we're going to thrust up. We're going to see if we can do about 10 of them. Again, because my bench is pretty high up, I have to maneuver a little bit to get up there. The benches at the gym won't be that high, so go ahead and play with it, get comfortable. And if you just can't find anything, come onto your back. That's fine too. Again, you can probably get away with using a heavy weight for this. Both feet are on the ground. This is really going to work the back of the legs. So everything that we've done has been focused a bit on the back of the legs, but I'm sure you feel it's got the front too, the inner thighs too. I mean, nothing missing. So when you're ready, weight on your hips. Let's get started. Climb yourself. Again, it'll be easier at the gym than this. Climb yourself up onto the bench so that your shoulder blades are on it. And then when you're ready to, chin a little bit tucked, feet kind of far away. You're going to lower and lift up, tucking your tailbone so much. Lower and lift up, tuck your tailbone. Lower, lift up, tuck your tailbone the whole time, even as you lower, like you didn't want to come out. Lift up. Keep going. Lift up. Last one. Hold it. Maybe hold it for a couple seconds. Do a couple pulses. And come on down. So how far away your feet are there does affect things. How parallel they are does affect things. I would recommend for that exercise, keep your feet a little bit farther apart, maybe even on your heels with your feet turned out. See what feels best on your knees, okay? So, come on up. We're going to do one more set of squats. I'm not trying to imply that squats are the be-all, end-all. They're really helpful, though. So you're 10, and you're going to hold your weight on the front of the body so you can see how it feels. Now, you could take 2 hand weights, hold them up there. You could take your heavier weight, but let's get into it. Again, feel free to put your resistance band on your legs. Ready? Weight at shoulders, feet apart. You're going to stick your butt out. You could, even if you wanted to. This can be good because it can help you with kind of knowing where you are. Pretend that you're going to sit on your bench and then come up. Especially if you're really tired or if your knees have been overworked. Some people will go lower in squats, depends on the person again. So let's get into it when you're ready. Stick your butt back, push your heels down, and come up. So you might be able to feel that this is much more quad, much more leg, period, dominant than having the weight on your back, because having the weight on your shoulders is going to make your core work a little bit more. You're still in both. You're still working your quads a lot. Watch how it feels. We're halfway done. When you push up, you don't have to go nearly as far down as I go. I trained myself for years to get that far down. So think a little bit of a lift in the chest when you come up. A couple more. Again, we're doing pretty fast tempo here. And that's it. Move your weight out of your way. Have a little break. We're going to do that twice more. Really, you could even stop the video and just do it on your own if you wanted to. Just watch your line. Remember, form matters first, always, in these exercises. And everyone's form is a little bit different. I'm not trying to say that every single human body is, completely unique. We have a lot in common too. But what works for your joints might not be what you Google. It might not be what I say even. So move slowly. Really pay attention to what you feel. And if you don't feel it so much in the back of the legs, even though I keep on insisting, it'll happen. You want to let your nervous system figure this out, and it takes time. So you ready? I'm not going to be using the bench. That's just too high for what I'm trying to do. I'm going to lie down on my back. Again, you can use the bench at the gym. The benches at the gym will have it so that when you sit down, you can already feel like the back of the bench is going to be pretty close unless you're a super, super tiny person. It's like unless you're like 5'2", or even shorter than that really. Even 5'2" should probably be fine with the bench. Just if you're new to this, don't overwhelm yourself by getting up on that bench and just being all over the place. Just try it on your back. So when you're ready, again, I'm doing feet turned out, heels pressing down, and I even play with moving my feet a little further away. So I have a long spine. I'll back bend if I don't try to resist it. So let's do 10. You ready? Up, down, up, up, down, down. 3, up, down, down. 4, tuck your tailbone, down, down. Tailbone tuck the whole time. 5, and you're using your hands so that the weight doesn't slip, but you're not using your hands to do the work. 3 more. Push your heels down. Maybe hold the last one. Again, a couple pulses if you want to. You can add a couple pulses to the end of any of these exercises. Remember, you really want to tuck your tailbone. If you're feeling this in your lower back, push the bottom of the pelvis towards the belly button. Go ahead and come down. Move that out of the way. This is our last exercise. We're going to get right into it. So we're not taking a break between in the superset. When you're ready, you could hold down like you did for our wide squats, but the feet are a little bit closer. You can put your resistance band on if you want to. So we're doing 10. You ready? Stick your butt back. 1, 2. Excuse me, just 1. Here's the 2. And then back up. We're doing 10 total. You don't have to follow me. Follow the feelings in your body as you push your heels down. If your lower back or any part of your back is bothering you, don't lower as much. Again, well, I don't think I've said this yet, but sometimes, depending on your spine, depending on everything, your biology, your biography, you might benefit more from having the weight on your shoulders than from having it in the front. Just play with it. Let's do a couple more. You can say no. Remember, I don't know what's happening with your body. I don't know how you feel. Got some good predictions. Last one. Push your heels down. All right, lower your weight. Again, basic, but really beneficial weightlifting strategy that you can do maybe once or twice a month to establish these patterns in your body. Good luck. Hope you liked it. You'll memorize it so soon, and then you can do it with your own music and hopefully you enjoy it.